All right, let's get into it. Episode 205. Glad to be back. I think we've knocked out some of the latency stuff. We'll continue to improve upon things. But anyway, the whole point of this episode and its focus is to sketch beats as unanimously decided by you guys on Patreon. So happy to oblige. I love coming up with some new ideas. And I generally, when I get into sessions like this, I don't really sort of have something prescribed necessarily. I like to discover things and then just build from there. So usually I go through a sample library of stuff. Like each Sunday, I'll just record a bunch of things. I'll either have it, sampled via vinyl here off my turntable or stuff I found on the internet, wherever. Regardless, we're going to get into this thing. So I'm just going to scroll through some stuff here. I won't show my screen yet. I just don't want to get in any real sample trouble, but you'll hear some stuff. Okay. This is what I sampled in last week's episode.
Treat me good, I'll treat.
That's dope, but I don't feel like doing that right now. Just looking for something that kind of grabs me. Let's go down here. I think I used that for a remix. That's dope. Kind of hip hop like. That should sound familiar. That's that funk. Those are dope. Those strings are nice. Little piano action. That's dope, but not today. No. Which reminds me, as I scroll through the samples, I will be working on Season 8 sample pack very soon. So, I did sample that. What's this? Ooh, that's dope. I could tell already, the reason why I'm attracted to that is because of all the chord changes in it. So first thing I'm going to do is just get some random slices in there. And again, I'm happy to show my screen. I just don't want to get in any sample trouble. All right, I picked a bunch of just random set slicer samples. It might be too close, actually. We'll get to my screen in a second here. Yeah, it's too close. Let me just... Oh, this is annoying. Hold up. This is super annoying. It's such a small clip that I got here. Let's try this right here. No. Okay, let's see what we got. Check these groups. Drop. Oh, that might work. Hold up. Wow. Okay. Let's start here. These are interesting. Let's see what okay, I got it here. I think we're gonna grab this part. I think we'll probably have to speed this slice up. So I think we need to speed this up a little bit. Slow this one down a little. Now I'm sort of listening at the bass line underneath it. The best way to test this out is to remove the melody parts and just listen for the bass as it comes back. That sounds a bit better. It's good. Just following the timing. So, listen, there's like a bass line underneath there, and you can hear it. Okay, I'm gonna try and record that. Kind of a housey vibe, deeper housey vibe. But let's see what we get. Let me just play around. So I need to make sure I start on this chop as the one. So let's go. So I played the second half of that much better than the first part. So let's listen back to it and see what we get. Yeah. So let's see why I feel like the second part was better. Let me move my piece up here. As we look at this, let's play it back. Yeah, I think the second, anyway, it's just too much on the grid, whereas the other one is more of a feeling. I think with this chop, we can grid it, make sure it starts on the 1. So let's bring it over. I'm gonna move me out of the way. Should move to the bottom right. So here we need to smooth this chop out. And I've always found, like back from my sampling hardware days, it's best to modify the attack in those situations. So this is what I mean. We're just going to take this, smooth it out a bit. See, it doesn't sound as let's find that chop. Like it just sounds smoother. Almost sounds like it's being faded into. So it'll loop better too. You know what I mean? Yeah, let's listen back. Even this chop here needs a bit of a delay in the attack. So the longer the attack, the more faded out it sounds. The closer to 0 it is, the more it's just spot on the sample. So this just needs a little nudge. And I like to look at it in relation to the 2. So you can see this attack is at, what was it, 20? Yeah, 20 milliseconds. This one is at 23. Oh, so similar. So let's see how it sounds. It sounds a little too smooth now. That's better. Let's check it against the metronome. So I think these two can actually go on the grid. So let's quantize that. And this last chop, I think it needs to go a little bit faster. And when it comes to timing stuff, it might be more where the transient is sitting on the sample as opposed to time stretching it up faster. So this is what I mean. What I'm talking about is like with this chop here, this one. So it sounded slow to me, but as I look at it and where it's sitting, it's probably a function of it not being like on top of where it needs to be, like in terms of where the phrasing is. So let's listen. I just moved it over a little bit. Yeah. So it's just a matter of how we want it Okay, I like that better. And you'll find, like, it's literally just, you got to zoom in and move it over close to the mark, which I'm doing here. Yeah. Also, I'm listening to the lower guitar note. That's like right here. So I'm almost wondering, well, shouldn't it be over here? Like closer to the attack of that note? As opposed to the flute? There, right? If you hear the difference, so... And that might be where it needs to be, as opposed to... It's just an extension of the flute note versus the... Where the bass note of the guitar is playing. So I think it needs to be where the guitar is, but let's listen. With a bit, just a bump in the time stretch. And maybe one more nudge. Maybe one more nudge on that note. Let's zoom in. We're already fully zoomed in, so it's probably there. Wherever you see lines, like, show you my screen. Wherever you see transient lines here, let me just move the marker a bit, probably see it better. Like these sharp dips right here. Maybe it's better if I spotlight it, yeah. Like these sharp dips right here, it's indicative that there is an attack, like a dynamic attack happening. And in this case, it's the plucking of the lower guitar string. So I think this is where this marker needs to be. So let's listen again. Pretty... Still sounds a little delayed, right? So I might be wrong. Jeez, it might be all the way here. Yeah. Sometimes you can be too zoomed in and miss everything that's going on. I'm also going to slow it down a little because now that I've moved the transient up, the marker up so much. But let's... And you could hear it's a bit fast because it's running into another phrase, which is similar to that one. It's probably it, actually. And a way to get away with that is just to cut the chop a little bit. So it's a bit too much. So it's more of a time stretch thing. So I'm going to slow it down a little. It's closer. And don't worry about, how it's sounding. If it's sounding a little like choppy, to me, it sounds a little choppy right now. Side chaining and other beats will erase that, and it'll sound pretty cohesive by the time it's all said and done. Wow, that was a mother, but we got it looping. So that's normally what I do. Now that we got it looping, I I'm going to start anchoring things around that loop. So let's let's get into things. Okay. I think first things first, let's just save that. I would hate to lose all of that time we spent just looping that melody. And I'm gonna leave this as is because it's a very important part of sketching beats and production. Sometimes it all just happens with, one transient, but when you are slicing and dicing like that to make it work, to execute what you've heard in your mind, it takes a little while sometimes, and you do have to get somewhat analytical. Okay, so I don't know what to call this. Let's just call it a Valentine beat. So I know this is an E minor because I actually wrote that in the when I sampled this thing. Let's pull up Loop Cloud. Cat is just having a meltdown. All right, let's open up Loop Cloud. Get a chip here. Yeah. All right, back to business. Here's my screen. Let me get out of the way here. All right, so first things first, I always make sure whenever I open up Loop Cloud, it's in the desired key I want. So I've done that here straight away. So we're locked into E minor. Samples. All right, Demuir Beats and Sounds. Look at all of these sample packs. This is in the sample pack bundle, all of these actually. And I got season 8 coming soon, so be on the look for that. All right, let's just play the beat in the background, or the loop rather. Kind of like this. Nah, let's move on. All right, let's try something with this. Oh, like, where is it? I was trying to drag it onto MIDI track. That's why it wasn't popping up. All right, let's just minimize that. It still sounds a bit off, so I might have to adjust the time in the loop, but and just a force of habit, I'll gain stage it straight away. I don't want to use the kick here. I'm more focused on just the groove of this beat. Let me just make sure the beat is on point. I'll zoom in, just check it against the markers. It's all right. This sounds a little off. I'll work with that. Okay. So that last chop still sounds a bit fast to me. I just take it down 1%. Yeah, that's better. That's the other thing. It's still playing in loop cloud. So important to stop that. I was wondering why it sounded phasey. There we go. That's what I want. And like I've been saying, transient control, I like this. I feel like it's tighter. I got much more control over it. And it's now my thing, right? So we'll just continue layering from here. I love this. That was a fluke. Sounds all right. Drop that in there. Cool. Then move over. Let's gain stage that straight away. It's that 6 dB. Just gonna take the sustain down a little bit. Sounds tighter. What's up with you, girl? Okay. My cat. So next thing is I'm gonna see if I just want to get a preview of what it would sound like with the bass line. And the best way to do that is to filter the sample down just to see what it sounds like. Let's check the gain stage on it because I don't think we did that. There we go. So we got a few options here. We can leave it this as this is our filtered bass line, so to speak. But by listening to this, I know it'll sound better if I played the bass over it. And I mean, I think a lot of you have been asking like my approach to this. And I'm telling you, let me just do this sidechain effect where it's telling you, hey, although it sounds a little off, we don't have to worry about it because the sidechain will sort of force the sample to stay in time. Actually, we will need track spacer, but just for demonstrative purposes here, I'm going to load up the LFO tool and let's this because it mimics a sidechain. I know Harry Romero swears by this, using the LFO to sidechain as opposed to a kick sometimes. But you can hear it's tighter, right? See. Okay. So the time has come. I've been looking forward to doing this. Um, let's get a baseline down, but I've been looking forward to using this camera to get you closer to the action of my approach to baseline stuff. Just want to check this out. Um, yeah, I'm gonna set it up over here because I'm gonna be. I noticed that key, the mini brute, is what's MIDI'd up right now via USB. Um, yeah, so let's get the action camera over there. I'm not gonna make you sick. So let's get this set up and in play here. I just filter this through. All right, I'm going to shut the volume down on this and angle it so you can see what I'm doing there. There we go. Okay, so back. Let's just listen to this. Okay, good. Let's listen to the sample. What I try and find is a root note to jam into this thing. Actually, here's my camera. So I'll just show you that here. Don't get too sick. So that's B, right? But I need some tuning. You can hear that it's a little, the semitone is a little bit out. So let's just pull up. Let's just pull up the VST here, show you my screen. This is what I'm talking about right here. Just need to tune that. So I think it's just needs like, let's listen back and see if it's literally, I feel like I'm tuning it to the sample. Let's try 0.2. So now that I know that I have it pretty much in tune or close to tune, I just want to get the bass line that I'm hearing in my head underneath the sample down. So what I'm hearing is, let's just play it. That's one of the notes here. D, G, so D to G. Okay. So there, I know I pretty much got the notes that I want. I'm gonna hold this up. Not trying to make you sick here, but action cam in action. So we have, this is kind of where it starts. So C sharp to D, and then back down to, what is this? G, is this G? Yeah. And then I started what I felt was a root note, which is A here. So I know I have the notes now to do this properly. Let me just set this back and make sure you could see me recording this. All right. So let's get into this. I'm gonna listen to this a few times, and then as I feel comfortable that I can put the bass line down, I will. All right. Yeah, I'm good with that. So the sample goes like this. Which sounds good as well. Key to stop. So let's try recording. We'll do the sample style, which is okay. Let me show you my screen. So we got the MIDI notes here that we've recorded. I think it's just missing this because it wasn't on the grid. Yeah, so make sure that's on the grid. I'm going to take the velocity down for that one. And the velocity, I'm actually going to increase the velocity of the last note because you can barely hear it. And actually, I'm just realizing what's happening there that's making it sound a bit lower. That last note is what's called a hang note. It's called a hang note because my finger is still on this note and it crosses over a bit as I hit this one, so it plays it softly. It's quite genius about this plugin, and I always tell people this is what I use for bass, Scarby pre-bass, because it's the most realistic sounding feel of bass in a VST plugin, in my opinion. So this is what it's like. That's a hang note, right? I'll show you my action cam here. That's what makes it a hang note. So that's why it's playing softly as opposed to that's not a hang note. It's very play that wrong right here. It's like here. Here's the hang note. It's pretty cool. Some sort of nerdy stuff when it comes to this plugin, but that's why it's like that. So when I see it like that, I'm just gonna pull this back a little bit, bring down the velocity so it doesn't sound like I'm hammering. So that sounds all right. Let's EQ this up a bit. I like to warm it up with a bit more bass. I take out the mid a little, down the treble. It just sounds more, gives more of a warmer tone, in my opinion. Okay, so there's no EQ on this. That is how the sample is playing it, and we could tell by just simply filtering it down, right? I filter down the main loop. I'm gonna mute the bass line. You should hear the lower guitar notes. It's actually playing this note an octave higher. It's going, and I'm gonna push it an octave higher. Like, It's a bit higher. If I mute it, you'll hear it. Actually, it's here. I'll show you on the action cam. So that's F sharp back to B, which is cool. So da ba 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 ba. Which is cool. That's the fascinating thing about music. It comes back to, you know, the root. And this is the first note I heard was B. I thought it was D, but it's B. If you remember when I was tuning, what I felt was the root note for this key. So anyway, so we have this down. Anyway, so we got that. Now let's record the way I sort of heard it. This is annoying. I don't want to see that. Let's move that. Okay. Let's record this. Yeah, we'll leave it here, and you can see me recording this. Actually, no. Let's do the action cam now that we got it, and you can see me programming the notes. All right. And we just need to quantize that first note. Right? So we have it now. And a great part about having it like that is we can create some natural variation with these basses. I'm just going to color this one. This one represents how it's played in a sample. Very just straightforward loop, right? Let's go to 8 bars here. I like the way I played it personally. Gives it a bit more energy, but there's still merit in having this one around because it just offers a different texture or different phrasing rather of the bass line for the loop that we can use interchangeably. But in general, this is how I think this will be the main bass line, this piece right here. Yeah, I like this so much more. All right, for shits and giggles, let's just get a kick on it. Let's get my favorite kick. It used to be number 3 if you guys have been watching this for a while, but this yam kick is insane. It's the yams. Oh, come on, man. Go to search. Yams kick. Are you kidding me? What's going on? Probably doing this wrong. Hold on. Let's go to kick. This is funny. I've done this so many times. My sounds. Loop. Let me just add yeah. See if it comes up. There we go. All right, it's already in key. So I'm going to take this. Shout out to Wajid, Detroit in the house. Okay, let's throw that kick in. And I mean, here's how we would do it. Have my and just have that baseline phrasing at the end of the loop. Kind of soulful and housey, but you know that's the sketch, that's the idea. So we got a few things off in this interesting episode because normally with loops I don't have to sort of fight and work for it, you know, it just sort of comes together. But when I hear something, I hope this demonstrates to you that it's worth fighting for to get your idea down. Anyway, I think we'll finish out there. I hope this was insightful to you. It's not necessarily a traditional sketch, but we went over transient and loop chopping, and as well bass lines, how I came up with that, and just variation on basses and how it makes sense. Also, remember the pointers on the attack within Serato sample and how that could really change the feel and smooth out your looping of your main loop and melodic samples. So I'll leave you with that. Episode 205. Much love. Peace.